I didn't even look at a weight for 9 months. I was like, it was like the antithesis of my existence up until 2 months ago. And I was like, right, I'm going to start press soon. I should probably do some crunches.
This movie is unreal. It's like mind blowing. So, let's start off the fact that this is obviously a sci-fi adventure. To me, it harks back to Star Wars and the classics. So, were you a fan? Start with you, Stas. Were you a fan of this genre in the first place? Are you that kind of person?
Absolutely. That was literally just the last question we got asked. As much as I'm a fan of Zach Snyder, I'm also a fan of all the sci-fi stuff. You got to look at, if you look at Star Wars, you also got to look at Akira Kurosawa. You got to look at Rice Burroughs and John Carter. They're every great sci-fi epic, every great IP is inspired somewhere down the line by something else. So, massive fan of all the laws, all the larger than life kind of stories. So, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And for you, Jimon, I mean, you've done so many amazing movies. I love so many of your films. I mean, what was it about this one then that made you want to do it? Because you must get sent a lot of roles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, it really had to do with the how impacting the organic story was to, overall. I mean, it's just when you look at the story, it's just its nature is so organic, and overall, it was an epic story that has a lot of resonance in the way we live our life today.
Yeah, yeah.
Challenges that we all have to overcome, which is for instance, the indoctrination of our continent of Africa. Yeah, it speaks volume of that.
Yeah, and this movie, I mean, the action is something else in this. So, Stas, I mean, how much work goes into the training and choreography and training actually, even to look that way? Do you know what I mean? Is that just you always? Are you always in the?
A lot of training, a lot of work,
a lot of discipline, a lot of sacrifice,
a lot of dedication that went into this. And suddenly we started a couple months before.
So I was maintaining that for 9 months, if you can imagine. 2 months of prep and then 7 months of filming.
7 months of filming, and so you can imagine every day it was required that we all hit the gym at some point through filming, whether you're filming or not filming. So yeah, the physicality was quite demanding,
but in many ways kind of necessary. You find all these people, these guys are either great warriors or they have been starved either emotionally or physically, and that it did allow us to personify and physically and mentally embody what this experience would be like for these individuals. So whilst it looked beautiful aesthetically speaking, it was wonderful to push myself to that point and physically exert to an extent where I never have before in my life. It was also a wonderful conduit to find the character and to embody him and bring him to life fully and with confidence.
Yeah, and after doing something so physically demanding, does that make Christmas extra special in terms of this season where everybody's having the chocolates and that, you know what I mean? Are you going crazy?
9 months. I didn't even look at a weight for 9 months. I was like, it was like the antithesis of my existence up until 2 months ago. And I was like, right, I'm going to start press soon. I should probably do some crunches. And so, back in it now, but yes, I think there's a level of having to take a break. Maybe not for some. I know Ray and Ed are just militant people who just probably carried on, but I certainly needed a break from that and just some good food and cuddles from my wife, and I was happy.
How did you find the CGI? Because obviously there's a lot of CGI in this. Is it easy to do that pretend thing as an actor where you're like, that's over there, just pretend?
Well, no, it's not. It's not. And that's the part that I felt like this was a character that was part of us, part of the filmmaking, but none of us knew about, and none of us were, sort of like had any real interaction with. This was all surrender. We all had to surrender our imagination to that vision that Zach had of that world.
Yeah, but listen, also that being said, there were like Velt, for example, the main one for part two
that we had.
Yeah, we had that. So I would say, whilst it was probably the most optimistic green screen experience I've ever had, it also was met with the most practical sets and locations that I've ever been on for a movie of this kind of type. So it's kind of both. We were very lucky, and also there was, like Djimon said, this mystery character that we had to wait to get to know.
Interesting. Amazing. The side of it was completely futuristic and sci-fi, and there was one side that was the side that we existed in, for the most, which Staz says Velt, that was very, very organic.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much for talking to me. Congratulations on part 1. And I look forward to part 2 now. Can't wait.
So glad you enjoyed it, man. Take
Thank
care.
you.